Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and often billed as a Harry Potter for adults. That's right, grab your Stardust. We're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 9, Restless Stars, chapters 58 through 86, where Tori visits the ferryman, Orion proposes to Darcy, and the final battle of the war begins.
Before we get into it, this is your warning for major spoilers ahead. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy World books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We're also avid fans of the Moss Universe and Fourth Wing and might accidentally let spoilers slip for other popular romantasy book series as well. Sorry in advance. Like the books, this podcast is rated R, so be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and YouTube.
Alright, so last we left off, Caleb had just declared his love for Seth in front of the whole world, and then the two ended up getting mated by the moon. Thank God.
Yes! Yes!
And now Seth and Caleb are sharing the news with their friends, and some truths come out that, thank God, we were finally ready for.
Yes. Oh my God. We've been waiting for this. You and I, Brittany, were messaging in the last section, like, where is the moon mating? Why weren't they mated?
Yeah, that first time that they slept together in that air thing, I was certain that they would be moon mated then, but then by the end of the section, they did get moon mated.
Yes.
And Seth is so ADHD. The way he tells a story is like, okay, so let me go back and give you some context. And
Yes,
yeah, I relate.
the relevant sections.
Exactly. Very what is relevant to the story.
so we were fucking like bunnies. I was up his ass, and
the moon was so beautiful, and it was shining on us, and there was sparkles everywhere.
I would have died if I was Caleb.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's great.
And we do finally get confirmation that Max did know all along.
I knew it. I fucking knew it. I was like, there's no way that motherfucker does not know. I was so pleased.
Yeah, and Darius admits that he knew and
Yep.
calls him out for the off-brand sex toys with his face on them, which they did not have this face, but I died laughing.
You know what? He's
Oh my
so right
God.
for that.
And
He's
with
so
the
right for that
parents.
because, oh my God,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. By the way, you two made love in front of the king and queen.
Mhm.
In their
Whose da-
daughter's
whose-
bedroom.
whose
Mhm.
bed whose daughter your bed. I can't speak.
And he just
Anyway.
casually tosses up the peace sign.
And then Seth like, oh, yeah, that's not a real thing. I totally lied about that. And, yeah, I was so afraid that you were gonna reject me that I made that whole shit up. Sorry.
Oh my God.
Y'all, this is the way he wrote it. I panicked after I gave you that BJ, and I thought you were going to reject me if you knew it really meant something to me. So I figured the best thing I could do was just pretend I suck all of my friends' cocks.
Don't worry.
That's the best answer.
Mhm. Oh my God. These authors, I love like their comedic style, just when they really get on a roll, and it's just, oh,
I know.
I love it.
It's great.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Gabriel shows up in the middle of the night at Darcy and Orion's place and takes them on a spur-of-the-moment vision mission to the Palace of Flames to gather the Nox flower. Which, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but when they brought up the Nox flower, I was like, oh wait, the prophecy?
Yeah.
That says beware the one named Nox? Is it not Gabriel, who I thought it was? Maybe it's the flower?
Isn't that the prophecy that it didn't even mean anything?
Yeah.
No, I mean, there was one prophecy that they had, and then Gabriel gave them another prophecy at the end of the battle in which Darius died. And then for some reason, fate changed and it went back to the other prophecy. Because the painted smile one still stands.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And then this, beware the one named Nox, that actually was a prophecy from Vard.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know, ever since the whole Fates have changed thing with Gabriel, I have been kind of like, meh, on the visions, you know?
Yeah.
The visions get old. Yeah.
They were always, we've always really had a problem with them in a, like, easy fix kind of way. They are more funny when Gabriel's like, dude, I saw that you were going to choke on that last pancake. So,
but I let it happen.
You should not eat it.
Your donkey sex.
Yeah. I saw that he was going to punch you in the face, but I really wanted to see that. So I let that happen.
So what did y'all think about this mission to go get the Nox flower? Because I was like, fucking bitch Avalon.
Yeah, I mean, at first I questioned why we even needed it, but then you left a response in the notes, and I was like, oh yeah, they do kind of need it because they have nymphs on their side that they can nullify the effects of, because my first thought was, well, didn't Darcy kind of take care of that? Like Lavinia's shadow powers? She can't call more to her, right? But
yes, but the flower nullifies the rattling sound that the nymphs make.
Yeah.
So that the Fae can still use their magical powers.
Yeah.
And the nymphs will get rid of everybody's, so Lionel's Fae won't have magic, but their Fae will.
Right. I did think it was very Night of the Living Dead.
Well,
coming out of the ground.
Zombie
bones.
phoenixes.
Yeah.
That's how you take over the world, because apparently they can't die.
Yeah, that's pretty bad, actually.
Although, I want to know what they did to deserve what Avalon did to them.
Literally nothing. Avalon is just a massive bitch.
Yeah, that's the gist that I got from it, that it was just, that was for her and she didn't care.
Yeah. Or do you think that she set that trap after they tried? No, because they killed her in whatever spirit form that she had. Yeah, so I don't know.
It had to have been sometime during her reign where she decided that, I'm assuming it happened after she defeated Lavinia and sent her to the Shadow Realm, but I don't know.
I'm assuming.
But is the Nox flower something that just naturally occurs, or is it something that happened because like a star touched that? I guess I don't understand the origins of it, because if it just naturally occurs, how could she keep it contained? Would it not grow somewhere else on its own?
I think that
it was already there. I thought.
Yeah, I think it's natural.
It just
but
blooms
it's
every
just
once in a while.
That one place that it blooms and nowhere else. Okay. I don't know. Mm-hmm. They didn't do a very good job of explaining it very well.
The problem is that we lack lore on the bookend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there's a really cute moment with Shadow in this chapter and Orion.
Oh yeah. Shadow saved Orion's life and he's like, I'm not sure about you, but thanks. Thanks, Sky.
He doesn't deserve Shadow.
No.
I understand his hesitance. As cute as Shadow probably is, he's still a little worried.
At this point, though,
it's a wild animal. It's a wild animal.
At this point, he has proven himself. And Orion
I think he was
is
just being a grumpy old man.
Yes, exactly. He was just being a giant dick.
True, but I'm sure, didn't the tiger eat the Tiger King, or is it his neighbor or something?
Are we talking?
I mean,
that reality show?
I don't know.
They
I didn't
abused
watch
those
it.
cats, so they deserved it.
I don't think anyone got eaten in the main show, though.
Siegfried and Roy, didn't one of them get attacked by their cats too?
I think from what I remember from that is that he was starting to have a heart attack, and the cat realized that he was trying to be nice and drag him off stage, and unfortunately, punctured his artery. But
he was trying to be nice and drag him off stage.
It was friendly. It was friendly, but it wasn't like he attacked him. But yeah, I think he was having a heart attack or something, and the cat could. I think
I remember reading that.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he was actually trying to hurt him or kill him. He was actually trying to protect him, but unfortunately, his skin is not as thick as another tiger. This is why you don't have wild animals. But
I'm gonna have to look into this, considering some biases in the chat. I may have to look into this.
No, I do think I remember reading that, but what I'm trying to say is that, you never know with a wild animal what's going to happen.
I agree. But I also think that Orion's being a bit of a grumpy pants.
Yes.
He is. Didn't he say, like, his standard mode is, like, grumpy asshole?
Yeah, that's his state of being. Yes.
All right. So after they get back, Darcy and Gabriel have a little chat, and Gabriel is the Scorpio in her horoscope that I thought was going to be Geraldine.
Yes. I didn't realize he was a Scorpio, but you know what? That fits for Gabriel.
I totally forgot. But Darcy's been having nightmares, which is totally fair with what she went through.
Right.
And after visiting the Palace of the Flames, she and Gabriel have a little talk, and he gives her some advice on how to cope. And you see that Darcy is actually kind of affected by their harpy blood as well, and she has this need to protect.
I actually thought this was a really cute and heartwarming scene. And yeah, it just made me like Gabriel even more. For me, he's a fun character, but he's also a sideline character. But this moment between them was really nice.
He doesn't get a lot of time here because he got 5 books.
Right. So
before. So.
Yeah. He doesn't need time. I get it. But he was like, I just need you to embrace the bird brain, Darcy. Embrace it. Be the bird that you are.
She's going to start collecting sticks for her husband.
Oh my God.
That shit cracks me up every time.
It kind of made me picture Gabriel as Big Bird.
I used to have a friend that would collect rocks for her partner. The way that I think it's penguins. Penguins do. Yeah. And he would drive his truck around, and the rocks that she collected for him were sitting in the bed of the truck, and they would roll in the truck.
Dang, that's gonna scratch up his truck bad.
Oh. But it was kind of funny because she would just be like, I found this for you, like bird brain activated. And he'd be like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Tosses it in the truck. It joins the group. Oh. That's Gabriel.
Yeah. Well, they're having a little bit of a war council in Tori's room the next day, only she's in the bath when everybody shows up. And Darius is not having it.
Dude, but the conversation between them before that is also really funny. Tori and Darius in this section, just domestic Tori and Darius, is really cute and funny, I think. When he was like, is that Orion's journal? And she was like, he gave it to me.
Yeah, no, he didn't. But no. I'm sure he did. Sure he did.
Yeah.
I love that he was like, dude, there are pages filled out in Orion's handwriting. And she was like, oh, I need this for important notes. And he's like, you drew little pictures.
Yeah. Oh, she's hilarious.
Yeah. And After she's in the bath, Caleb shows up and Darius comes back with the coffee and she's like, dude, if you spill my coffee.
She's like, I knew I didn't just marry you because you were dying. No, you married me because I was dying and I have a big cock. Hail to that. Hail to that.
Hail to that.
I don't know when they started saying that, but I think that was the first time I read it and I was like, that's genius. Gonna start using that.
Yeah, especially since their dad's name is Hale.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I laughed every time they were like, dude, it's just tits. Who cares? Nobody cares.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Just tits.
Yeah. It's just tits. Everyone knows what they look like. I mean, he did burn her clothes off. They've all seen them.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
But Darius is Darius. I kind of love it, though. I'm not gonna lie. I like the toxic shit. Sue me. I
like it to an extent.
I like it in theory. I like it in a
There's
book.
a level. Yeah. There's a level in which I'm like, no, that's enough. You've had it.
Yeah.
You've crossed the line. Like, dang.
How about the fact that when they were talking as a group, and I think Caleb brings up a past fling with someone, and Seth starts vomiting.
With Milton.
Fake vomiting, and he's like, oh my god, Jesus Christ. Like, and Caleb's like, be so for real right now. Like, you had a fucking orgy with your pack.
With Milton. He had it was just
That
a
is pretty
rumor,
gross.
I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a rumor. It didn't actually happen.
Maybe it didn't. I don't know, but either way, Seth was horrified, and I totally get it. I get it.
Thinking about your partner with somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we do find out that they did contact Grandpa and he sent them a gift, although he declined to help them with the war.
Fuck him.
Right.
And it's these 4 little tiny dragons.
I was like, okay, we're gonna have a Khaleesi moment. She opens up her chest full of dragons. What did you think, Christy?
Well, shit. Now I'm like, oh, you were wrong. Because I forgot about the little dragons who are ridiculously cute.
They are.
Especially the fact that they can kill as well. I love that.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll retract my fuck you to him because he actually did help them win. And that was probably the best way to do so. So I retract that statement. He is awesome. And I hope that you see Grandpa soon.
I retract that statement.
Yeah, they apparently are super powerful and they imprint on the first person that they see.
Right.
So Darcy and Tori are the ones that open up the chest. And although, does that mean that they were born in that chest?
I assume they hatched in the chest.
Because, yeah.
Unless the people they hatched around were like hidden in cloth or something. Yeah. That maybe, I don't know, in order to allow this to happen.
But there's a blue one, a silver one, a coral one, and a green one, I believe.
Oh. The fact that they're so little and so deadly and so cute. And
I know, right?
Amazing would that be? Like somebody fucks with you and you're like, here's my little dragon, boop, boop, boop. And then, it fries them. It'd be great.
I want a little tiny dragon.
I would get like a little Tyco truck for it and make it look really, really cute.
I want to know what they named them.
Yeah, for real.
But I will say, so there's that moment where, Darius kicks everybody out and gets Tori out of the tub and, he fucks her while saying, you're mine, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I picturing this with every thrust like mine?
No, you're ruining my vision. I need you to stop. Retract.
But what if he goes faster? Mine.
No.
I love it, Brittany.
That's awful.
Just the visuals.
That's what I had in my head the whole time, and I was just like, "Oh, Darius, please stop! Please stop!"
I'm done. It was really funny when Seth was like, "Lance, are you coming?"
Yeah.
Like they were going to the bathroom like, girls, are you coming? Obviously, we have to go together. Come on.
Yeah, let's go. Moon friend.
Moonmate or moon friend. I always say moonmate when I mean friend because it rolls off the tongue. But
so Tori and Darcy have come up with secret plans that they don't fully share with us, which
I
hate that.
Yeah.
But we do get glimpses. And Darcy's involves having a chat with Archie, the sparkling asshole that he is, on this Veritas ocean island thing.
Right.
And of course, it's from Orion's point of view, and then Archie throws Orion into the ocean. So we don't get to learn anything.
Yeah.
And then he pulls this jerk-ass move of, I'll let you go back so that you can lie to your mate. And I was like,
dude,
Orion, don't fall for Archie's shit. I
didn't like this chapter for everything that happened between Darcy and Orion. I did not like this chapter because, first of all, he should fucking know that Darcy would never do that because of everything he's done, right? And second of all, fuck you, Arcturus, for just causing unnecessary bullshit.
I think, honestly, they put it in there because Tori's the one that lied, and they misdirected. Because now they're making the reader think that Darcy lied.
I see.
But, yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Their relationship has been through enough. You've tested them. They had their divine moment. You get to shut your mouth now.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I didn't really like it. I didn't like how it happened between the two of them. However, I did like submissive Orion, so 6 out of 10. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Would read it again.
And then we do get Tori's plan, going to see the ferryman, and we get it from Darius's point of view, so that when the ferryman throws Darius into the water, or he falls into the water, I don't think the ferryman throws him in.
Yeah,
we don't get to hear what happened.
Yeah,
I like this part. I like the ferryman.
Elaborate.
Well, I feel like he's so much. Honestly, I feel like he's kindred spirits to Tori in some way. He's a smart ass, and he also seems like somebody that would step up and help if he felt like that they either were a kindred spirit or they were in the right or something like that. I don't know. But I really I just really liked him from the moment they introduced him.
Yeah,
I would have never guessed, based on your notes of, I knew the ferryman loved Tori.
Yeah, I really, there's a couple characters that, like, from the first moment they're there's just something about them that you can't help but like.
I did have some issues with this chapter. I feel like in this book, there was a lot of stuff happening, quote unquote, like behind the scenes that should have been on the page.
Yep.
Instead of, for example, Darius fucking Tori in the bathroom, which, don't get me wrong, loved that. I loved
we've
that.
Seen it.
However, I've been there, and I would rather know where the fuck this random dagger came from that she gives the ferryman. Like, I thought that was very out of nowhere and just convenient.
I assume it's Darius's draining dagger, but from book 1 or book 2.
Yeah, and then there's some stuff that happens later that it's like, okay, that's really convenient. Where did you get that from? What are you talking about? And it's just stuff like that we should have gotten at least hint at it.
Yeah. How did you come to this conclusion?
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yeah.
I will say, her asking how they pay Darius's price.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so Lionel, Lavinia, and his whole army.
The whole army
is worth Darius's soul.
Yeah.
1 soul. Not to mention the other people he's already killed. And I'm sure he's including the people who will probably die on their side as well. That's a lot of souls.
Yeah.
But I feel like the ferryman believed in them. I felt like it was confidence.
He knew it would happen, I feel.
He needed to give him a little bit of a challenge, Make it worth it.
He's manifesting.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Manifesting.
I can see the ferryman with some meditation circle and some sage.
Just
Uh-huh.
Tori and Darius will kill all of Lionel's army.
He's like, I let Darius go because they will feed me more.
Yes, yes.
See?
He's actually quite Machiavellian. Yeah.
So we do get our first POV from Therex. What did you guys think?
You know, I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little surprised that we got his POV. To just start with that.
I love Therex.
I want to know what his star sign is because he is the epitome of I don't care about you and you and you.
Unbothered.
I just want to lay back and, you want me to sit in a chair? You want me to care about a chair?
So
really?
unbothered. I wonder if his star sign exists.
I think Therex would go to the end of the earth for somebody that he loved. I think once he really has that family in place, and I truly believe he's going to have that at the end, I think once he had that, I think he would go to the ends of the earth to protect them, and he would definitely care. And I think he would be very vengeful if somebody hurt his family. So,
I agree. I think I put in the notes, I think I like Therex. I like the fact that he's unbothered. I like the fact that his father is so obsessed with power and that he has all this power and he's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Somebody else could take it.
But yes, I want to give Therex a hug. He needs a hug.
So we go from, I think I like Therex to fucking Mildredful. Is having some withdrawal issues.
And crusty eyeballs. Ew.
So they mention earlier that they sent everybody to Darkmoor.
Yeah.
But Mildred's not there. So why didn't they?
Yeah.
And also, can I say that Kylie deserved to go to fucking Darkmoor? I don't care if they didn't think that she did what was worse. She sent Orion to Darkmoor. She should get the same sentence.
Precisely.
25 years of Darkmoor and then power shaming.
Yeah, I was so fucking shocked that Mildred was there. And why were they so fucking reckless with her? Why did they not
Exactly.
I don't...
I was sitting there like, more guards. You need more guards.
Yep.
Sedate her. Don't bring her out of the jail. Bring the infirmary to her.
I don't understand why they would do this. I mean, I get they don't take her seriously, maybe, but it was ridiculous.
It felt so out of place, and it really seemed odd to me that for the next several chapters, instead of dealing with the war and dealing with all of the information that we should have, instead it was her kidnapping Geraldine and then trying to get her back. I did not need several chapters of that.
This is what I meant I think I said it in the last section. I was like, are we going to have a bunch of mini adventures that are solved like almost immediately? And it's just to fill up space in a weird way, but also I get that there are things that need to happen before we get to the war part, but it should be more leading towards the war. For example, the stones thing, that was resolved real fast, and then it just fizzles out, and we're left with this, with the Mildredful kidnapping Jerry for
Lyra.
Like you said, like what's going on with Lyra? What's going on with Lyra? What's going on with Therex? I know there's dude. I have many thoughts.
Oh my god, I forgot about her.
I have a lot of thoughts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
She was just there for 2 seconds and then she just disappears. And
yep.
Why?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So not only did they give me a useless chapter that I did not need, but then they grossed me the fuck out with her eye boogers. Like, why? I did not need a description of that to start with.
I think that they think, you know what? I feel like they give a lot of time to characters that are funny or weird or, specific to these books. And I think Mildred is one of them. So I think that they wanted to give like a one last hurrah to Mildred as a character. But we didn't give a fuck about that. We didn't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is, again, something that could have been, for me too, could have been cut out. What did it accomplish other than that wonderful little scene with Seth and Orion, which I loved?
Yeah, that is a beautiful moment. And honestly, it was fun to see Max and Darcy drive in that fucking car. Like, that was so crazy.
And we got another siren song from him.
That bitch is endlessly powerful. I don't know where he gets this power. I'm scared of how many songs exist. He could just make one up off the top of his head, maybe.
He's like a little jukebox.
Yeah.
The fact that even Darcy almost succumbs to it, that she has to tell her Phoenix to turn it off.
Yeah. Okay, but that's, I mean, they did that well, at least. Like, he couldn't sing next to her and her not be affected in a way, I would think.
Yeah. Only that she's a Phoenix and she's not supposed to be affected.
Yeah.
But, so they do a car chase scene here. And there are several dragons who Mildred called for help. And I don't know. The scene that really stood out the most to me is when Seth is in trouble.
Yeah.
And Orion goes to get him. And Orion, my favorite line probably was, "You don't get to die before I stopped being an asshole to you."
Yeah. He's such a great character, Orion. I will say I didn't like him as much in this book. Something was missing. I don't know what it is. Maybe in this chapter or in these chapters, this section. I don't know. I just feel like in this book something
he felt like Gabriel. He felt like useless a little bit. He wasn't useless, but I felt like that's the attention they gave to him in this book.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Even though I love him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan does call him his moon mate. Or his moon friend.
See, you did it too.
Friend.
I keep doing it. But yeah, I think it's cute. And then I was thinking this whole time, I was like, Seth's pretending to be dead so that he can hear this. He wants to hear him.
I don't know if he'd do that to Caleb, because Caleb was like...
Definitely not to Caleb.
Really worried.
Definitely not to Caleb, but that's cute, though. To Orion, maybe. A little bit. Just a little bit.
But so this whole chase thing takes several chapters, like you said, and then it's over, and they do capture at least one dragon to interrogate, which lasts for 2 seconds before Darius puts his axe in his stomach and kills him.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember if it was, I think it was Orion. They could have known more.
Yeah.
They could have known more.
Yeah.
But they do find out that Lionel is planning on attacking the school in 2 days. So Tori says, "We march at dawn."
Which is interesting. Which, again, it just feels like it happens so fast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I had to laugh at this part because then Gabriel comes in and says the same thing. And then in this moment, I felt like he was a little bit like Vard of useless info. He sees them coming after the guy already says that they're coming.
Well,
I'm saying, first of all, you can't compare Vard and Gabriel in the same sentence. I won't allow it. There's no
offensive,
comparison.
Disgusting.
Nope.
How dare you?
But in this instance, I think it's the point that, Gabriel is seeing, he's been through all this trauma involving his visions. He is having a hard time separating them. He's seeing them all at once. And he hasn't recovered exactly from what Vard did to him. And we can't know the ending.
Right.
Otherwise, there's no tension.
Right.
So, I think it's, chaos.
They had to nuke him.
Yeah, chaos has always been his downfall. So, I think that, him not being able to see, or him being able to see so many things, but not knowing which one is real. Because I'm betting that Lionel is like, well, I'm planning on doing this, but I'm also planning on, changing my mind and things. Because he's got to know that Gabriel's there to...
Well, like you said, would it really... Go ahead, Christy.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, like Brittany says, what it really comes down to is that Gabriel can't know, or else it's
Boring.
not fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but he does it in a way of like the guy's like, they're coming in 2 days. And Gabriel's like, yes, I've had a vision and they're coming in 2 days. And it was like, what? No shit.
I took that as a verification, not really a, yeah, I've had a vision.
It was like he had that vision in that moment, like, oh, he's right.
I was like, I could have done that. Oh, wow.
Honestly, I was bummed that Mildred didn't die at the scene where she kidnaps Jerry.
Right.
I was like, oh my god, Jerry's gonna kill her. Yes, get this bitch. Whenever they were like running out to get Jerry, I was like, it's time. And then she got away and I was bummed.
Well, something we kind of skipped, my bad. In Derek's first chapter, he got pulled into a pool of water by a skull-faced figure.
Mm-hmm.
And in his next, we find out it's the ferryman.
Yeah.
Although I assumed it was the ferryman from the beginning.
Okay, I did not. And then I felt stupid for not putting it together. But I guess because I thought it was too soon for him to call on that.
Yeah, I mean, they okay, so Darius does offer up Derek's soul for his, and I was a little disappointed in that.
Yeah.
And the ferryman says that he'll take care of Derek's. And then immediately, next chapter, it was...
Yeah, I thought it was really fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he ends up taking all 4 souls that his mother trapped inside him, and then punishes him by saying that death will never take him, so he can never die.
Which is shitty.
And I'm like, it is shitty, but also I was like, immortality is not necessarily a punishment. I mean, it is.
I mean, it is
in a way,
but
I wouldn't mind some immortality.
Really?
Well,
I mean, at least I would know that I wouldn't die in the middle of reading a book.
Oh my god.
So your greatest fear.
Is that your worst fear? Is that your worst fear?
Not one of my worst fears, but it is one of my top fears is that I will die before finishing a series not being able to know how it ends.
If you die, I'm sure you'll have omnipotent knowledge of what happens in that series.
Maybe. But, I can't know for certain that I would know, and that uncertainty scares me.
What were you going to say, Christy?
How about this? If you die, then Lily and I will hold the book open for you and go page by page so that you can read it in death.
I'm a slow reader, just
Why
so you know.
was that your
Fair
thought?
Enough.
That was your thought? Okay, I'm thinking, like, if you're dead, your spirit body can read, right? Like, I would assume that your spirit could flip things if you try hard enough. Or, I mean, spirits probably can, like, you could absorb it through osmosis as a spirit. I don't know.
Do not flip shit at my house, Brittany. If you're a fucking ghost, do not flip shit. I don't want to see you. I don't want to. I'll just open the book. You can read it, but do not scare the shit out of me.
I just go haunt Rebecca Yarros' house while she's writing it.
You could possess her, and then you'll forever live in that world.
And then call us. When you possess her, then call us and then let us know what's going to happen.
Be like, hey guys, so on next week's episode of Midnight Readers.
Really, the Midnight Readers podcast.
No, literally. And meanwhile, me and Chris are like, Brittany? Oh my god, Brittany, hello. And then you're like, anyway, so next week for the podcast.
I have something to tell you. I need to tell you right now.
Oh, man.
So, Derek is getting punished for the way that he was born, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is not his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I
didn't really like the ferryman in this instance. And I personally feel like making somebody live forever isn't necessarily a punishment.
I could see it as a punishment, but
I could see it as a punishment, especially if you have lots of feelings for people and you have to watch them die.
I think I could see it as a punishment, but I do think that the ferryman maybe went a little easy on him by doing that, because I think he agrees that it's not his fault. He's mad because he had 4 souls inside him, but I feel like he could probably do something worse, and the immortality is probably a nice option.
Now that Tori's declared we march at dawn, everybody is having their little last night on Earth nights.
Right.
And Tori ends up giving Darius quite the gift.
Honestly, genius gift.
Yeah.
He should have had that already. Something to protect him and keep his power constant already.
I'm surprised nobody else thought of that.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, what about, was it a bracelet she gave him before that gave him the Phoenix power? Or a piece of her
The Phoenix kiss. Yeah.
Also really smart.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but like Avalon said, they can't give out too many of those because they don't get that power back.
Right. Although they did make a whole fucking weapon armory of it. I noticed that. Didn't you notice that?
Yeah, but I think the Phoenix kiss, since they are gifting a piece of their Phoenix power to somebody, they don't get that back. But when they're using their Phoenix power to make weapons,
it's different.
It doesn't necessarily take their power from them. Not sure.
This whole time I had thought that
we
wasn't
need more
the case.
Lore. We need more lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she said, she was like, yeah, I snuck out of bed and made this, and it took hours. And I'm actually going to lie and tell you it didn't take that much time, but it actually took hours.
How very Tori of her.
And is this the part that Cindy Lou comes in?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you listened to the audiobook, Brittany. I don't know if you did, Lily. How does the audiobook voice her? Because in reading her, I read her as a little pathetic, and that I almost felt sorry for her.
I bet it was fanatical.
Country.
She's country?
Really?
She's country. But she's country lady. But not like Geraldine.
I have to go back and listen to it. Oh my God.
Huh.
I read most of this book.
I should say she's more southern, not really country.
Just a little more southern than Jerry's little country.
Yeah, country's a little different than southern, but...
Dude, why was she pissing herself?
I know.
Because she's cursed. Like Christo.
Did they go over that before?
Yeah.
Ruthless.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure she's a character from Ruthless Fae. And she's obsessed with dragons.
Yikes.
She had a thing for Dante in school.
So this was kind of done to her.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, it's just kind of sad, and Darius is a complete jerk about it.
Every time she goes near a dragon, she pees herself.
He was like, "How could you?"
Aww.
And Tori was like, well, I feel kind of bad for her. And he was like, yeah, well, I mean, I am irresistible.
To be fair,
like, what the fuck?
She totally deserves it.
I believe that.
Okay.
She's a Marguerite / Kylie. I mean, Marguerite, is turning out to be a decent person, but definitely a Kylie.
Okay. Okay, maybe I don't feel quite as bad for her.
And she's a stalker. So Orion,
she seems gross,
takes his last night to propose to Darcy.
Yes, how very cute.
And he recreates their first date under the willow tree, except for, it's on campus and the willow tree is made completely of ice.
Yeah.
And everybody conspires to get her there in this pretty dress. And he's there. And then let me tell you, my favorite part of this was Seth's reaction afterwards.
The texting?
Yeah.
Did she say yes? Did she say yes?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
That was great.
And I like when Caleb's like, oh, I already know.
Yeah.
I was like, Orion texted me earlier.
I was like, of course he's being whiny about it.
And it's funny because Gabriel knew, and Darius knew and turned off his notifications. Tori knew and turned off her notifications. Caleb knew, and nobody would tell him. And I felt it so much because I was like, I am also that person who needs to know. Did she say it? I mean, I knew she said yes in this. There was no doubt about it.
Right.
But...
Well, Seth did too. Of course he knew that she was going to say yes, but of course he still had to be like, well, did she say yes? Did she say yes?
But I've been in those situations where I'm like, okay, so do we have news? Do we have news?
Are you going to tell me?
You going to tell me? Please.
Are you going to tell me? That was you before Onyx Storm came out. You're like, I need to read it. I need to read it. I need to read it right now. What happens? What happens? What happens?
And it'll be me when book 4 comes out. And book 5. And then hopefully after book 5, I'll be like, all is settled. I know all that I need to know, which probably will never happen.
No.
Sorry. I just had this thought of, at least Zayden's birthday is mine.
Yes, you guys share a birthday. That's crazy.
Well, you share Aylin's, so...
Who? What?
Aylin.
Aylin's birthday is not mine.
May 3rd.
Ain't no way her birthday is May 3rd.
Yes, it is.
When is that said? When is that said?
I don't know, but it's on the internet.
So we share a birthday and a name? Interesting.
What do you mean, a name?
She went by Lillian for a while.
That's true, she did.
Oh my god, her birthday is May 3rd. Where is that stated?
Probably
where is
one
that
of the
stated?
novellas that we
It's on
didn't
Facebook,
read.
apparently, but I don't trust Facebook. Happy birthday, Aylin. We'll all be celebrating with chocolate hazelnut. I guess maybe that's the day the book came out, The Assassin's Blade. I don't know.
Maybe Sarah J. Maas just said it.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Anyways, let's move on.
We need to get a book character for Christy.
Yeah.
Who was born on your birthday?
Okay.
Isn't Harry Potter? No, that's July.
Yeah, I don't know of any that are born in August.
We will find one.
We will figure it out.
As long as it's not like Voldemort or something.
I didn't have anybody until Zayden. I knew Lily was born on Aylin's birthday, and
I didn't know that. It has been confirmed from a Tumblr account that she used to be active on. Bloomsbury and Sarah have confirmed her birthday. Taurus
Nathan.
Queen. I didn't know that, and it's my favorite series from her, and now I'm very fucking happy.
That's how I felt when I found out about Zayden.
It's so unnecessary, but it doesn't mean anything. But
it doesn't. But, okay, so the proposal, Seth, him not being told.
So fucking ridiculous, as always.
Just
love him.
So funny. Loved it.
After that, doesn't Seth give Caleb?
Yes, Seth and Caleb have their little goodbye moment, and Seth gives Caleb a watch that doesn't tell time because they are forever. And it was cute.
It was. I feel like this is another last hurrah at Harry Potter also. The always.
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 And then it goes straight into let's line up for war.
It was so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really sad because at the time that I was reading this, I was like, where's the nymphs? Where's the nymphs? I kept asking, are they going to come or not? Like, it felt like so much was unresolved.
I wrote, so they have Phoenix weapons and armor, the Nox flower, the secret plans that Darcy and Tori are keeping, the secret that Orion and Caleb is keeping about the coven, the spares anti-weapon,
right?
The
whatever that is.
Yeah, the miniature dragons with untold power, the diamond with power. They seem to be ready, I guess. But I feel like we're not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're going into this unprepared.
I will say Darcy gives a speech, and I thought it was so sad. Like, I didn't think it was a good speech. I was reminded of how good Tori's speech was in the last time she had to rally some troops, and I was like, damn, Darcy needs to not be doing this. And then Jerry gave her a speech, and I was like, that's a speech right there. Like, I was like, that's how you rally some troops.
I thought they were giving the speech together, like Darcy set apart,
Yeah.
and then Tori set apart, and then
I
Darcy.
might have just read it incorrectly, but it was not as good as the last time.
Yeah, I think that's how they did it. And then Jerry kind of took up the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Jerry comes after them. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Jerry gives her speech on the battlefield, but this is them still at school waiting to be transported there, and she's singing instead.
Yeah, right.
And I love that in the notes I put, of course Jerry's got a song for this, and then you put,
right?
Of course Jerry is singing again.
Which I will say, she is Max's partner, so it's funny that she sings. I never put that together until this section. I was like, wow, 9 books in, you're just now catching on. Okay, Lily, good job.
You also have Tiberius and Max there that are pumping up the good emotions, and reducing the fear and the anxiety for the army. And then, of course, the nymphs show up out of nowhere, and I was like, Miguel's in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, oh, thank God.
He brought Diego's hat. I was like,
he was wearing it.
And we said they were good, and they are good.
Yeah.
Well, at least some of them.
We did.
Yeah.
It was complicated, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then the harpies fly over and use all their stardust to get them to the battle. And then it begins.
Yes, it does.
So here on out, we'll talk about Seth, and then Geraldine and Max, and then Caleb and Orion, and then Tori and Darcy, and then Gabriel, and then Darius and Xavier, and then we'll end with Lionel. So, first off with Seth. He is in the right side of the trident that they're going to do.
Yeah.
And he's got his school pack with him. He's got his family pack with him. So both of his packs are there.
Frontline.
And they're frontline. They're in super danger. And I was confused. At first, I was like, why did they march at dawn? Why not march during the night, since a good 90% of their army feels like wolves, and they replenish their magic by running under the moon?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I thought about that later in the chapters as things are going differently. I was thinking, what are they going to do to replenish their magic?
But for some reason, it was like the moon was out, the stars are out, even though it's daytime. So the sun is there. I was like, did all the celestial bodies just show up for this war?
I must have missed that.
But they do fairly well in this section, Seth. And we see that Frank and Alice are there. They're specifically named.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Geraldine, I think, is the middle of the trident formation that they were doing.
I think so. Yeah.
And she has her Starfall Legion,
which is a great name.
It's like, okay, so you have the Starfall Legion, Seth pack, Rosalie's pack, the Nymph squad.
And she has the Shadow Beast too, doesn't she?
Yeah, she has the Shadow Beast next to her, which is awesome.
I love her with him, with Shadow. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
She was like, the last time we went onto a battlefield together, you nearly killed me, and now we're working together.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You've got harpies in the sky. Dante's up there. He's the only dragon in dragon form that is fighting on their side. You got the vampires, the polar bears, the rat squad.
Yeah.
I was like, rats. I'm so rooting for Eugene. Don't get captured.
For real. Not again, please. Please.
Aww.
But he was wearing a skull hat thing. And I was like, isn't that the same thing as a human wearing a human skull as a helmet? He was wearing a rat skull. You are a rat, and you're wearing a rat skull.
I don't think it's that crazy. I think he wanted to scare his enemies.
Little macabre.
Yeah, a little bit. I never hated a little bit. I never hated on the macabre. You know?
I mean, I was just like, that's a little weird. Just a little. But I was rooting for him the whole time, although we don't get another mention of him in this section. So I was like, don't know if he survived.
I don't know if you mentioned it, but Mother Dickens is there too.
Yes, and she has the whole healing section set up where people can go be healed and replenish their magic, and they have books for Sphinx to read and gold and other things. And I was like, this war would never end unless you hit mortal blow right away.
Yeah. If you were able to keep going back.
Yeah.
Although people get tired, I guess. You could run out of magic and still get tired.
Yeah. But Max joins Jerry on the battlefield, even though she told him to stay away.
Right.
She calls him out for it. You law-breaking, rule-breaking salmon.
Yeah.
But how did Justin Masters make it into her legion? He's not that powerful.
You know how. You know he snuck his nummy pouch in there.
He's still evil. He is evil.
he let her get taken by Mildred.
He did. And then instead of going after her, he went, my Queen Tori, Geraldine has been captured. Kidnapped.
Useless.
But I do love the fact that the rebels were able to power share so easily.
That was cool. Really cool.
When Marguerite is there fighting, I was like, okay, maybe she can be forgiven.
Yeah. Maybe I was surprised they didn't do more with her.
Yeah, I hope they do. Would be nice. She's been there from the beginning. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like there's a little more they could have done with her character in the sense of because she was in the cunts, because she was on the side of Lionel for a while, she would have had information. And I guess in the background they could have gotten it. But yeah, I thought we would see a little bit more from people like her versus, Mildred's chapter.
I can't tell if it's because they wrote so many characters into the books or what, but I feel like there was so much that could have been done in these books.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
Yeah. And so much that was done that didn't need to be done. Or did you just say that?
Well, but that's an addendum. But you're right. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I would have liked to see more out of Sophia. I know she's flying in the air, but I don't really get anything from her.
Yeah.
Or Tyler.
It's like why? We didn't even get to see them do anything.
Yeah.
I guess they got their moment in the last battle, maybe. A little bit.
Well, Caleb and Orion are together, and their mission is to go after Lavinia, but they run into some vampires first. And I thought it was hilarious that when they do run into those vampires, and they call them out for being coven, like they know that they are part of a coven. And Orion's like, who do you want? Caleb's like, I'll take the 1, you take the 10. Or no, I'll take the 10, you take the 1.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that if I remember correctly, that the general of the army was the vampire they face. Yeah.
Yeah. They were working together to get to Lavinia and make Lavinia show herself, which she ended up doing in the end, but we don't actually get to face her just yet.
Right.
And Caleb, of course, is sitting there worried about Seth because he is in the worst of it. So, any thoughts on how the war is going with everybody so far?
It's a little rough right now. It's going a little rough. Honestly, when I first started reading this section, I was like, wow, the rest of the book, like a majority of the rest of the book is going to be this, which I felt like it was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair, things seem to be going their way right now. I mean, they're scared.
Yeah.
But seems to be headed in a good direction. I was surprised that Darcy and Tori were not there. When Darcy's chapter came up and she was like, I don't like it that we're not there. I was like, what do you mean you're not there? Where are you?
Yeah.
How far are you out?
Yeah, this
Why?
part seemed odd to me. Yeah, I was really confused.
Yeah, they're making the stone circle with the guild stones, and they call down Archie to convince Clyde, or I guess trick Clyde, to come be trapped in their little stone circle.
Yeah.
What did y'all think of this? Because I was like, he's supposed to be some almighty star.
Too easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was over so fast.
Yeah.
I thought, I was like, what do you mean? You just trapped him in a circle and it's over.
And yeah, you trapped him in a circle, and didn't they make him release his power?
Yeah,
and
they
then
exorcised him.
So the power words was
thought-
kind of cool. That part was
Yeah.
pretty awesome, the fact that they used that to get him. But I don't know. It felt like they didn't know what to do with him, so they needed to get him out of the way really quickly so that we could have the ending that we thought we were going to have with Lionel and his army. And it just felt so
Rushed. Easy.
It did.
rushed and extraneous.
Yeah.
And
It definitely felt rushed.
What was the whole purpose of him being there?
Mhm.
Other than to make Darcy and Tori have to spend time to find these stupid stones and
the
sit out
stones
the
were
first-
borderline useless.
yeah, and
Yep.
and sit out the first part of the battle.
yeah,
That was it. It made no sense. He was useless as a bad guy. He made no purpose at all. I wish they'd never introduced him.
Also, we still don't know what happened with Lyra. Another part of that makes absolutely no sense.
yeah. How is she not a part of this? Why was that even included if we're not going to, I mean, maybe we'll see her in the next section. I don't know. But up to now, I was shocked that nothing came from her. No information,
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, nothing came from her. Nothing came from him.
Yep.
And even
He was supposed
like
to be
Lily said,
this
the guild
almighty,
stones.
powerful star.
Yeah.
Like Lily was saying, that with the guild stones, that there were these huge adventure trips to get them, and it just seems like they're all but useless.
Pointless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
And they introduced all these other things. This like the triumvirate or whatever, the three group of stars, all of this useless bullshit that is not. It has no bearing on the story. And I swear to God, if we finish this book and all of that stuff that's brought up, all the lore and all that stuff is for the setup of another book, not in the series, but another series, that pisses me off.
Yeah, there should be some sort of payoff.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If you're going to set up stuff in this series for another series, it needs to be more subtle. It cannot have such a big part of the plot and then have no payoff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Because I mean, I know we keep saying it, but I was just like, again, he's an almighty star. And they got rid of him in chapters where they can't get rid of the big inflated ego iguana.
Yeah.
For 9 freaking books.
Yeah.
Yep. Years.
Well, I remember even talking about the Imperial Star. Remember when we first started kind of talking about it, and I was like, well, I'm not really going to pay that much attention to it because there's been too many other things that were brought up and then never used. And so I'm not really going to like think about future
You called it.
for it because they do that. But yeah, I kind of feel like that was what they did with this instance, is just kind of take something that could have been huge and
Yeah.
I don't know.
There were so many things that could have made, him epic, and it just fell flat. And I'm disappointed in the storyline, especially when it's introduced last minute.
Yep.
And then just
Yeah.
Definitely the worst part of the series, I think. Because we enjoy the characters so much. We enjoy the relationships, the drama, the comedy. It makes it worth it, right?
Yeah.
But to see this play out like this in the end almost makes me question, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost felt like they got to Lionel and felt like he wasn't enough to be the big bad in the end. And so they added something extra and then kind of gave us back that storyline with him.
Yeah. Lavinia wasn't enough. I think Lavinia was scarier than
Clyde.
Yeah.
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 She definitely was. Even without a shadow, she was still just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so after they quickly dispatch of Clyde, they join the battle. And I gotta say, all these, like the griffins and the harpies and everything who are fighting on Lionel's side, I just wanted to be like, are you dumb? He thinks you're lesser than him.
Yeah.
It's amazing what people will believe.
It's amazing. I am always surprised what cults people will join.
Mm-hmm.
When we see Dante fighting in the air, and Darcy does head for Lavinia, which I personally hope that Darcy is the one. I mean, Orion definitely deserves it too, but she needs to. I think she'll need to fight Lavinia and defeat her to conquer her nightmares.
Yes.
I was thinking that the way they're setting it up is clearly that it seems to be that Darcy and Orion together will fight Lavinia, and Darius and Tori will fight Lionel. And I think that makes sense because Tori and Darius have had the most intimate issues with Lionel. She was bonded to him. Darius was his son. They've had the most issues with him. And then Darcy and Orion were captured by Lavinia. They had this whole thing going on in the last books. And I think it just makes sense. I get it.
It does, but I hope that I will say I kind of personally hope it's just Lavinia and Darcy. Because after that first battle between her and Lavinia, where Diego dies, and I really wanted to see her kick her ass, I would love for just power to power for her to just beat the shit out of Lavinia.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, it was a really good fight whenever Darcy takes her shadows, like her access to the shadows. So I would love to see that end. Yeah.
All right. Well, we also have Gabriel and Leon on, I guess, a hillside somewhere.
Making art projects.
Making clay soldiers or people, whatever.
With cocks and tits.
Yeah. And tits.
Okay.
Can't forget the tits.
I have two comments here. One is Leon is wearing bear-sized armor. And I thought, Leon is that big?
Apparently.
What? I did not, in my mind, imagine Leon to be that large. Like, I thought of him as like, I don't know, maybe this is crazy, but I thought of him as just like a really tall soccer player.
Really?
I mean,
lithe, a little bit muscular, but you know what I mean? Lanky, but muscular.
I picture him.
And now I find out he's like, now I find out he's like musclehead, like beefy. I don't know why I didn't think of him that way, but it solidified for me.
Which is funny because every time I see pictures of Zayden, Garrick, Caleb, Reese, Cassian, any of them as bulky,
super bulky,
I'm like, sorry, no, that's not how.
That's
it's
never
not how
usually my thing.
Want my man doesn't know.
And the other thing I wanted to say was reading Leon putting the titties on the stupid ass clay things. I literally typed, I'm reading the other books. Like I was like, and I decided I'm reading the other books. It's just titties.
And I love that he was like, tits are never a waste of time. Never.
Agreed, my man.
Okay. Darius and Xavier. So Darius's mission is to sneak into the Jade Castle and kill his father, but he gets a little sidetracked by the war machines that Vard has created, and he also runs into Xavier, and they team up to take one of these towers down. Did anybody else get the same feeling that these towers were like Kingdom of Ash witch towers?
Yes, I thought of that too. But I mean, so the idea of towers in battle is not unique to fantasy writing, but my brain did go there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was the fact that weren't they like putting their power into like a ball to explode, kind of like the witches were yielding to explode everything?
I guess so.
I don't know. I was sort of confused at how it worked. But,
Me too.
But yeah.
Honestly, when I saw the towers in the books, when I read the towers in the books, I thought, oh, are these the war machines that the spares are going to have to defuse? The towers? But then I was like, that's crazy. And the further I read, I was like, no, these aren't the machines. So where are the machines?
At some point, I think it was Caleb's chapter, I wrote, random thought, where are the spares?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about their anti-war machines?
Yeah.
So,
I had the same thought.
What did y'all think of Darius and Xavier fighting together?
It's good.
I think you guys had a more positive reaction. I was a little bummed that once again Darius was saving Xavier, but I did like that it ended up with them working together.
Well, Xavier ends up saving Darius sort of at the end when when he turns into the war stallion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but it just when the chapter first opened up, I was like, again? But I don't know. I liked it. I liked that they were working together.
All right, so we'll end with our least favorite topic, Lionel.
Ugh.
This whole time, Lionel has sent his army out. He sent Lavinia out, and he is sitting on his ass inside his little jade castle, having a tough time, hidden away. And Ellis Rigel finally chooses a side.
Well, let's add in, he's behind magically reinforced glass.
Coward.
You giant poof.
I was like, don't they learn that from Ellis?
No, he talks about that he's sitting in his magically reinforced glass behind, that I've done all this. No, you haven't, you giant poof. Get the fuck off the throne.
Yeah, he's he sucks. He fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. He's not in the battle. He's always been a coward.
I kind of heard a little rant that's not really that long, that anytime that he sees a woman that he doesn't like or wants to insult, he's just like, the whore wife of the savage king, the whore daughters. Yeah. Why is it always a whore? Is that really the worst thing that you can think of? Is a sexually promiscuous woman?
And
it's not a catch-all. I'm sorry.
It's not, but that's what you hear. That's like a standard male response to insecurities deep within themselves.
So true.
And let me tell you, I'm pretty sure that Lionel has slept with more people than Tori.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
They don't care about
what
that.
He uses. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's not factual or informational.
He would argue that men are supposed to do that and women aren't. Yeah. But I was really I was impressed with Ellis here.
I was so proud of her.
Calling him a spare to his face. Yeah.
The fact that he's like, the second generation or the second heirs are, there's something wrong with them. And she's like, weren't you a second heir?
Oh.
Yes.
I was so shocked. I was like, I had to reread it because I thought, nah, that can't be her saying it. It's got to be somebody else. But yeah.
So earlier, Tori told Max that she would order her caught alive, but probably she would have to stay in Darkmoor for the rest of her life. I hope this gets her out of Darkmoor and receive full pardon. I'm just saying, she deserves it.
Yeah. I mean, I hope for a little more from her than just this.
Yeah, I would hope so too. I was thinking the same.
I hope they don't waste this moment.
And Ferrex actually saves her and lets her go.
Yeah.
Stands up to his father. Sort of.
Oh.
We also find out that Therex is tatted up.
Yeah.
Just like Darius, except tatted in shadows. And I was like, what does that look like? Maybe I want to know.
More awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to see a book series based on him.
Really? Just Therex?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, there is another series that is connected to this world. And I do wonder, since Therex is immortal,
if we're going to see him again,
he will be in that series.
I would be tempted to read that.
I don't think that he'd be the main character, but
oh, well then,
I'm interested in whether or not he will show up.
I don't know if I'd read it just for him to show up. He would have to be the main character because that's what I would be interested in. Yeah,
he could be like a Max and Geraldine situation.
No, because I don't want to fucking have to read more Xavier and shit that drives me nuts. Although I like Xavier in the end of this so far, but I don't want to have to wade through that just to get to his chapters. He needs to be like the Darcy and Tori.
Although I have heard that series is more adult than this one. It was like you do still get some silly scenes the way we got in this.
I was about to say, what is more adult? So less funny?
Right. What the fuck is more adult?
I think that it was less juvenile with the antics.
That was juvenile?
What a shame. That was the best part about this book.
Not juvenile. It's perfectly adult. Funny stuff.
Yeah.
So his last chapter is sitting there saying that he's a little worried that he's losing. He didn't expect the rebels to be doing so well. So he says he's going to release the second wave. Also, I have to say, the most unbelievable part of this book has been Lionel drinking dandelion tea.
Are you kidding? I missed that. He was drinking dandelion tea for his little poofy battle.
Oh my god.
She wrote, they were in there and they were like, he drank his dandelion tea. And I was like, are you serious? That's what you're going with? And
it matches. It matches him.
He was like, well, maybe I should get something stronger, but I'm too proud for that because I don't need something stronger to keep my whatever up.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna, jackass.
Yeah, okay, dude.
And I will say this also, Horace better get some consequences of his actions in this next section too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But Lionel does say release the second wave, which I thought is the monsters that Bard made.
I think so too.
And Lionel is super delusional throughout this whole thing, where he was like, how dare they grow greater than the supremacy of my own, because Therex, like Darius, is now bigger than Lionel.
Yeah.
That's not that hard to do. You got to make a bigger yardstick if you want,
Yeah. Not that hard. Just like it's not that hard to scare him.
Yeah. He's literally shaking in his boots.
Oh, he almost pissed himself with one of Ard's creatures.
Yeah, literally.
Maybe somebody should curse him with the need to piss himself every time he gets near a dragon.
I don't know. That's just, it screws everyone around him. It's really a curse for everybody else because now you got to smell his pee.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thoughts for next sections. Hopes this is the end of the book. So hopefully a happily ever after. But anything specific y'all are hoping for?
So I have some questions. I have questions about what I'm wondering we're going to see. I'm wondering if Therex is going to be helping them. It seems to be going that direction. But,
yeah,
he's still in the middle. I'm also wondering what the fuck the glacial diamond is for.
They mentioned that at the beginning of the section, and they haven't told us what it's being used for.
And they're like, oh, we have an idea. And then I'm like, okay, what though?
What's your idea?
Yeah.
Please tell me.
Also, where's the weapons they're going to defuse.
Yeah.
Other than that,
where are the spares?
Yeah, where's the spares? Other than that, I'm expecting the twins to win, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering who we're going to lose. I'm very nervous about that. I'm wondering if they're really going to kill anyone off. I don't think the heirs are going to die. I just really don't think that, but I'm just wondering who will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm expecting some death. I'm expecting Darcy to kill Lavinia. I'm expecting Tori to kill Lionel.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Ellis and Therix to both join the rebels, hopefully, and everybody will have kids at the end. And then they'll set up something for Neverkeep.
Yeah.
But what else did I write? I did say they had no personal losses in this section, so I feel like the next section is going to hit hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be truly devastating.
What about you, Christy?
I want them to take on Therix. Well, for him to be on their side. I think he's going to. I think he's going to be a big part, and I'm really, really excited. I have to say, I think he is the part I'm most excited about right now.
I need you to explain to me why you like Therix so much, because I don't get it.
Have you ever had it where a character is introduced and there's something about them that just hits home in a way?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there was just something about him that just immediately drew me to him.
He just stands out. He called to you. I get that.
Yeah.
I like Therix.
So
I definitely get that. I was just wondering if there was something I was missing there. I was like, did I miss something that she said? But I get that. Totally.
No. Just something about him just really, just called to me.
Okay.
And I think he's going to be a major part, and I'm excited to see that. And I'm excited to see what happens afterwards. I hope he walks away with a family.
Aw.
And so far, Gabriel has been kind of useless in this. And I don't say that in a mean way. Yeah. I don't feel like they've used him in a way that... So I'm hoping in the next one we're going to see why that is, and that he's going to have a little bit more use in the next one. So, but I'm also worried about deaths. I'm worried about Caleb. But now I'm worried about Seth, because the way they've written a lot of his chapters has almost been like some sort of goodbye. So I'm a little scared.
I had that same feeling.
Don't say it. Don't. Yeah. I'm sorry. Nope. Rebuke
so I'm
that
worried
thought.
that we're gonna lose somebody.
I want to know what's going on with the clay people. I thought, I texted Lily, I was like, so the star, when it came down, I was like, it's going to take over the clay people and help the battle. And I was like, well, that theory went out the door pretty quickly.
Yeah, to be honest, when I first read that chapter, I was really confused about it. So we'll see what happens with that. Because I was like, I don't remember this being in the plan. What is happening?
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of things like that happened in this section. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next episode is the last one. Next episode is the last section of Zodiac Academy. I feel very bittersweet about that, but we hope that everyone enjoyed the show. Next episode, we'll be discussing Book 9, Restless Stars, chapters 87 through 119. New episodes drop every week.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please, please, please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.